Welcome back to Hot Air with me, Joshua Robert, and we are going to waste no time today. We are getting right into part two with Sam and Stephania of Optimal Health. Before we do, make sure you're following me on Instagram and TikTok at underscore hot air pod. Visit my website, hotairwithjoshuarobert.com, to submit your listener stories, topic suggestions, and shop my merch because you know you want to wear a hoodie. Don't you want to drink your coffee out of a hot air mug? Like, what could be better? But truly, I'm not going to waste your time today. We're getting into part two right now. Let's hit it. Let's talk about the room that you guys are in right now. You have a cold plunge and you have your infrared sauna.
We have two infrared saunas.
And so let's start with your cold plunge because those are everywhere right now. They are, again, one of those things that is all over social media, just like red light therapy is, just like infrared saunas are. Obviously, there are benefits to them. And truthfully, I do a cold plunge usually once or twice a week, but I just do it because it's there. And I'm like, you know what? People say to do it. So I just do it. So like I said, they're everywhere right now, but what do they actually help with? And are there things that people are exaggerating in terms of the
Yes.
benefit?
But Sam's really good.
The answer is
Sam's
likely
really
yes.
good at explaining a lot of the mental benefits, so I'll let him take over now.
Yeah, we'll zoom
Let's
out.
do it.
I think you're on the last question first, the exaggerated. I think for a cold plunge, I get a little frustrated. Yeah, it does have some changes with your metabolism, but never seen a really unhealthy person on Instagram hop in. It's always someone very aesthetically, like in great shape, and I think it gets a little missold. Like I got here by doing this.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that part I would say is like maybe a little bit of the negative. Another, I wouldn't say negative, but in my opinion, when they talk about a lot of times it's sold to do like first thing in the morning, and it's like, I just feel so amazing after. One aspect of it is like do anything that sucks in the morning and like conquer something hard, whether that's a run or a workout. It's like you're gonna feel very similar, right? Now into a little more of the science of what's different. So both in heat exposure and cold exposure, you produce a protein. When you go into cold, you produce what's called a cold shock protein. So my analogy with this is you have your neurons in your brain. Imagine we're in LA and those neurons would be like the buildings. And then we have these connections in between, which would be the roadway. Well, imagine normal LA, we're in traffic, all that stuff. But when we're introduced to the cold, that shock to the body, it actually kills those connections. So the buildings are there, but poof, the roads go away, but instantly our body makes what's called this cold shock protein, and it rebuilds that road. So now we're the only people on the road. We're still in LA, it's still the same buildings, but now our access and our connection to them is much faster. And that's when you feel like, right, no brain fog, or even splashing our face with water, or getting water thrown on you as a surprise. You're like, you're very like alert and awake. So that's what you're experiencing right in that moment. In the long term, we talk about metabolism. There's bad fat, which would be white fat, like adipose tissue. And then we have brown fat, brown adipose tissue, or you'll see it labeled as BAT. So that brown adipose tissue, it's actually what babies are basically all like predominantly made of. The reason I bring this up is babies don't shiver. Because brown adipose fat, or brown adipose tissue, has more of a thermogenic effect. And actually, the more brown adipose you have, it'll kind of cannibalize some of the white adipose and help produce. So this is why over time, the more you do cold plunge, the more of that you can develop. So kind of harnessing more of the good fat. Isn't like going to be a negative for you aesthetically, anything like that. But so for the cold, the big benefit, I would say, mental clarity, because you're creating that cold shock protein. You're cleaning out those neurons, but similar to what you asked about the cerebral spinal fluid, we're actually creating more of a fluid exchange and getting those new, like cleaning up. We'll put it that way. So helping with that aspect. What I was saying before of like doing something hard, also that part for sure. Because I think, like you were saying, there's times we ask ourselves a question, right? You zoom out. Well, a question, when you get to doing something hard, maybe you're in the strength class with Stephania, and it's getting kind of hard. You're like, well, if I could sit in that 40-degree water for 30 minutes, surely I can continue to do this. But it gives you a barometer of like 3 minutes, sorry.
I was like, wait, am I doing the cold plunge wrong?
With your head on
30 minutes?
No.
I would surely die.
No, 3 minutes. But, and not saying
3 minutes.
I'm not a time police person, but just using that as an example, if you can sit there for 3 minutes, that becomes like kind of a barometer for other things in your life, right? Like I can keep walking or I can keep doing this.
We can do hard things.
Right. So I think that part is important.
Well, I definitely don't think it's necessary. I definitely don't think if you're not already doing cold plunge, like don't feel like this immense pressure. I would say when we were building out our business, it only felt right to add a cold plunge in conjunction with this wellness room that we have with the saunas. Now, I would consider myself someone who really does not like or is not passionate about cold plunge, but I can tell you after sitting in that sauna and starting to work up a really good sweat, it does feel really good to rinse off and to get in there. Now, I don't do this extreme cold plunge routine where I'm in there for multiple minutes and multiple rounds, but it's almost like a little treat to like have a refresh and get back in the sauna. So I use it as like a little tool for my sauna routine. But if you don't like it, you don't need to force yourself to do it. And there's so much studying about it going on right now. I think Wim Hof really made it popularized as like the bread and butter of your health routine. Now, I'm not here to sit here and say that's wrong or right. I don't know. I don't do that type of research myself. But what I can tell you is that think about like going to the spa and getting a massage. Like it feels good. So if it feels good to you to do that, and it's going to sweeten the deal with your gym routine and your spa routine, and you leave feeling so refreshed or a little bit, brighter in your mind, great. And guess what? If you don't like it, don't feel pressured to start incorporating something like that. Even doing 10 seconds of cold water in the shower would create that same synapse break in the cold shock protein too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. That helps as well.
There's other ways to get that benefit. And I think ultimately for our business, my real belief is in contrast therapy. So it's having both. And I think the beauty or the magic of it is doing both. They both have their inherent properties that are great. If I had to pick one, and I say this to people, I think sauna is better in the sense of if I could only do one, as I said in the beginning, there's not much that's easier than and there's a little bit of a learning curve to be able to do it longer. It is some like a stress to learn to deal with. But sitting there, in a lot of these studies, you're dropping your all-cause mortality by 60%. And cold plunge is not doing that. It's great for your mental fortitude. We're helping your metabolism a little bit. I think we're helping immune function and some other things. It's good. But I really like the contrast because if you think about it, what happens when you go into cold? Everything is going to shrink down. I know what you're thinking. Your blood vessels are going to shrink down. Those go everywhere. So when we vasoconstrict, right, less blood flow, and I tell people too, in every sci-fi movie, how do we preserve things, right? Cryogenically freeze them, And where do we put our food? Put it in the freezer, put it in the fridge, because we want to stop that metabolic process. So when we slow that down, but then I go into heat, what happens then? Everything opens up big time, so big floodgate. And that's what we want, because now we can use that pump. And like I said, sometimes there's stagnation. We want to move along, right? So just like when I have an injury, if boom, we hit this and I get some swelling, and then I can go hot, cold, hot, cold. It's like we're going to slow it down, and then we're going to open it up. So that's going to help push out kind of the bad and allow that new blood to come in. I always tell people, getting new blood flow sounds like a really simplistic thing for healing. But at the end of the day, just like I said, there's no magic Home Depot in your body. You are what you eat. That blood flow is carrying what you eat. That is the transmission system of getting those items to that area so we can repair it. But the other part of that highway is getting rid of that stuff. So I use the example, if I have my injury, right, this is a construction site. But we need to get out the debris and the things that we've broken down. We also need to get the new materials and the new workers in there. So if you didn't do any hot and cold, that's going to happen at a set timeline. But by doing hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, it's like, hey, I got rid of, it's like we were working double, triple time that day because we got new workers, new supplies. We got rid of stuff. It's like we did that so many times instead of maybe only twice in the day. So this is where we can expedite that. With your heat shock proteins, very similar when you're exposed to that. You're getting your good benefits. Mental, it is going to increase your metabolism a bit. I think the biggest thing for sauna is the detox effect. Your sweat has more toxins than your spit, your fecal matter, anything. So when we're sweating, that's where we're going to get rid of most of our toxins, where that's the best thing that we can do to get rid of toxins and detoxify.
So do not wear your stinky, dirty clothes in the sauna and then sit there and sweat and then go home in them. And yes, I see this happen at the gym all the time. You should be sitting in the sauna wrapped in either just a towel, or if you must, in a space like ours, you wear a swimsuit. And then it's also important to rinse about every 15 minutes. So you're getting rid of what you've just sweat out and you can get back in. Do not wear clothes in the sauna. It's disgusting. And then your skin just reabsorbs everything you just sweat out.
As far as just a common question, I don't know if you have this one coming up, but a lot of people ask what's better, infrared or
Who
wet
knows?
sauna? So like your traditional kind of steam sauna.
Okay.
And the research that I've kind of been exposed to and looked at, pretty similar. When they talk about detox effects, you're really similar. When we talk about healing and recovery, that's where infrared gets a bit of an edge because those infrared wavelengths are penetrating your muscles deeper. So we're able to reach into the body a bit further, but you're also heating yourself from the inside out with the infrared, kind of like a microwave,
Right.
as opposed to just being exposed to a hot temperature. Where hot temperature, we can recreate, like it's really pretty hot today in San Diego. So I guarantee if I go sit in my car with it off, I'm going to be sweating after a little bit. But the infrared is going to be different than that because we're getting that depth of penetration. So that would be the difference there. The other thing is with infrared, our sauna goes to 150. Wet sauna, some people, 175, sometimes up to 190. People like to go really, really hot. But number one, as a business owner, we don't have some crazy thing where people are passing out. Number two, it's much more reasonable to stay in for a longer duration of time. And I think that's what's more important is the kind of time on task, the dosage time, and not just this max temperature that maybe you can only tolerate for a little bit. Because at that point, it's like, well, we might as well just go to Arizona in the summer and lay on the road for 30 seconds. It's different when we can tolerate it for time. And most of the studies show the benefits when it comes to frequency and time are obviously the two things that we're tracking.
Well, since we're on the sauna topic, let's stay there. Good job, Sam. You answered all of my questions. I didn't even have to ask them. Wonderful.
Perfect.
Literally, the first one. How is infrared different from traditional? Well, already did that. Okay, but I am curious, beyond sweating and sweating out those toxins for people that don't know or aren't aware, what exactly is happening when you're in an infrared sauna? Like you're saying, it's digging deeper, heating you from the outside. How does that healing process work?
So very similar to what I was saying on just blood flow. When we heat that up, we're going to get more blood flow to the area. We're going to help move the kind of stagnated things or damaged tissues away from it and just introduce new blood to the area. Ultimately, think of it, like I said, the opposite of the cold. When we're in the cold and we're slowing down all those metabolic processes, when we're in the heat, it's making them easier. So if you remember back to like high school, college science, and we talk about chemistry and reactions, certain things make reactions happen easier and certain things make them more difficult. So we're just putting our body in a better environment, easier to make those type of changes metabolically. The other thing I will say about sauna when it comes to like longevity is it's one of the few things that I can think about outside of maybe like a pharmaceutical drug that can take some stress off of my heart. Because when I'm in the sauna and now my blood vessels are open and it's easier, like less of a pumping mechanism is needed to push that blood out because there's less resistance. So it takes stress off your heart. And it's one of the few things that can do that because as most of us want, our heart should never stop. So it's a way to kind of give it a break. Think of your heart like being on that assault bike, and you're like, hey, we can turn down that resistance, and at least you can be at zero for a little while. So that's very helpful. And when your heart doesn't have to work as hard, something again that you're not going to perceive, but subconsciously your brain is like, okay, like this is a little easier. So we can relax a little bit. And at the end of the day, we're always fighting that battle of being in fight or flight, or our sympathetic response, or our parasympathetic and our rest and digest. And we tend to think of that in extremes, but really it's like we're always trending a little bit towards one or the other. And this is where kind of full circle, we talked about it's a no phone zone. We talked about you're in there and you can make those connections. So all these things go together from a kind of neurological sense to help your body feel safe so it can fully relax. Um, Another thing to add is we have a 5 to 7 person sauna that's intended to be a bit more social. And then we have a 1 to 2 person. So if you come with somebody else and you two want to go in there and kind of make it your own experience here, or if you just want to go by yourself and have that solitude. So I still kind of similar to the training, it's like the group with the solo attention. So kind of choose your own joyride, but you're getting the benefit whether you want to add that social part or not. And there's going to be days where you're like, oh, I'm excited. I like make some new friends. You're like, oh man, that person's looking good. I want to go in there. And there's other days you're like, I'm doing my own thing. I just came to, get my mind right. Just like I think we all go to the gym sometimes. You're like, I'm not here to talk to anyone. This is me time. And there's other times that are social and you want to see your friends.
Yeah. I feel like, is there anything else before we move on? Because I do want to move on to some entrepreneurship and a little bit more about you guys and your business. But is there anything that you feel like we didn't talk about in terms of your amenities, not your enemies or sea anemones, your amenities or anything, we
I think
didn't
that's
maybe
all for now.
touch on?
We did design the space. We have three additional rooms, kind of some room for expansion, and we had planned originally to put these. It's kind of I call it like a recovery pod. So it is using very similar technologies, red light therapy, infrared. Um, the big difference would be you're in a room by yourself, so that solo ability. But also, it's a great benefit where you're getting these same benefits, but maybe it's a little tighter on the time schedule, and you don't want to come in, sauna, cold plunge, shower, change, like basically spend an hour. You can go in there for like 15 minutes, and I would say it's more similar to like the ultimate power nap. As things kind of evolve, we're very open to those rooms might turn into something different. So whatever we feel fits the best with our model, and we had the benefit of getting some feedback. But I think we talked about everything that we have.
So I kind of want to shift like our mindset a little bit, still health and wellness, but more to the entrepreneurship side of things because again, it is the new year. There's a lot of people that have big dreams and are inspired to create new things just like you guys have done. So what was the scariest moment when you guys decided to start growing or planning
Every day is
optimal health?
scary. It doesn't end. the
Love
way
it.
I
Perfect.
the
It's
way I
still
describe it to
terrifying.
people is, when your stomach has that dropping feeling when you're on like the Tower of Terror, or like those rides that just like go straight up, and you're like, my stomach's not even in me at this
Hmm.
point. You just feel that all the time. You
Great.
basically have to counteract that with such a high belief that that you believe in yourself, you believe in your skill set, you believe in how you can um, help solve a problem for people, no matter what business it is that you're going into. That that ride is going to turn into a joy ride at some point. And so I think that we're still in the trenches, we're still in the nerve wracking part, but it's like every day the ability of betting on ourselves is what keeps us going.
Yeah, I feel that's definitely terrifying. I wouldn't have it any other way because I feel like we only get one go round, as far as I know, and there's no way I wouldn't want to try to fully capture and pursue the things that I feel are important to me. But not that I feel are important to me, but I feel they're important for other people to know. I think you have to stand for something, and yeah, it's definitely terrifying, but 100%, it's like I like to take risk. I like to make calculated risk, and if I'm going to bet on anything, I 100% will bet on myself and our team, ourselves, more than anything. And as terrifying as it is, I think a big like zoom out thing for me is, it's, well, it's never over until we achieve what I want. So that's pretty simple. And then I would never quit. So easy. It's like, yeah, there's going to be ups and downs, but whatever it is, we're going to figure it out. And I would much rather take a risk and see how things pan out and go through some of the hard times because I know it's going to work out the way that we want it to and the way we intended. But there's going to be a lot of unforeseen things along the way. And I think when you just go into it knowing, like, literally every single thing I want to accomplish, I tell myself it's going to at least take 5 more steps than I think. And that way, when it only takes 4, I'm like psyched. But it helps, like, kind of calibrate your patience a little. And I don't know. I just think that you could go through life and play it safe and never get what you want, and you could go through and take a risk, and at least you put yourself out there. And I'd much rather be on that side of the fence than someone who wasn't wasn't willing to do it. And I totally understand. There's going to be a lot of critics and a lot of people that think you could do it a different way. But I always use the analogy of you can pay a lot of money and even get courtside seats. You can be right next to the action, but you'll never be the guy playing. So I'd much rather be that, and it's a different perception. And I don't know. I think it's always scary, but we're happy to do it.
Yeah.
It's motivating. But because you guys are a couple,
Mm-hmm.
you guys are partners, you're engaged. As far as I know, you haven't got married
Not
yet.
yet.
Right? Unless I missed something. But was that, do you feel like that was different in terms of your partnership and the way you maybe divided responsibilities and how you guys are co-owners? Like, how did you tackle that being also in a partnership? Like, you
Yeah.
live and work together. That's a
We're
lot for a
still
lot of people.
definitely navigating everything for the first time, I'd say. And I'd say there's like times where we're home and it just naturally turns into a business chat because it's on our minds, and it's like your work is right there. So I'm going to tell you this thing that's on my mind. And I've really struggled a little bit with focus lately. So there's times where I'm like, hold on, I can't talk about this right now because I'm thinking about too many other things, or I'm at the home or I'm doing this. Can we write this down or can we circle back to it? So it's like just navigating and learning how to balance those different aspects of your life. Whereas before, we were very open with each other about our work scenarios, every story that happened, catching each other up. But it's so much more different when your partner is just like with you all day long at work and then having any separation in the home. And so I think it's really important to, like, Sam's dad gave him this advice early on. He's like, I really hope you guys like have a date this week and celebrate yourselves and like just don't talk about the business and just enjoy each other, because you don't want to get lost and swept up in all of this, because obviously we have to stay obsessed about the business and continue putting all of our best efforts forward. But you also need to still cherish your person and your time together.
Yeah, it's definitely learning and navigating how to work together, but treat it just like it wasn't working with your partner. And like, this is what we're going to get done today. This is the plan. This is the thing. Having those like direct conversations of like, this is what we're trying to get done. This isn't important right now. So I think just like anything else, it's a learning relationship. But realistically, like, we wouldn't go into this if we weren't both such a big believer in not only like the product that we're trying to put out, but the synergy of having these things together. It'd be foolish to, I don't know, do it with someone else, like even providing the same service.
Right.
So I think that at the end of the day, a massive benefit to that, and I obviously see why some people see it as like, oh, I could never work with them or this or that. And I have no judgment on that, right? We all have very different careers and jobs and whatever. But I think the massive benefit is, for any business, a huge part is marketing and letting people know about your service and what you do. And it's like pretty cool that whenever you're out, wherever you go, catch me up. What about this? It's always about our business because it's our life. So that's pretty cool. Instead of, Sam does this and he does this, or I can't tell you how many patients I have. They're like, oh, really know what my husband does? That's what a lot of my friends do. I don't know what the other ones do. But I think ultimately that's just an even more commendable, like, rewarding thing about it is it isn't as easy to do it with your partner in some ways. Some things are a lot better. Some are better, some are worse. But I think just with any business challenge, you want to navigate that. And, we wouldn't be together if we didn't think that we were capable or wanting to go through all the challenges of life together. That's the fun part. So why not add something else to it? Truthfully, if we didn't work together, and I look back and, I chose to be with this person because I want to spend as much time with them as I can. So that'd be a lot of my life that I was at work, and that she was at work. And
Isn't
then,
that
so
cute?
I don't know why wouldn't you want to do it that way? And especially when instead of telling
It's
everybody
valid.
about your partner, it's like, yeah, go see them. You think I'm good? She's even better. So that's like, I don't know,
Right.
really, really cool to me. And I think anyone else, it's like thinking about starting something, do it. Like, yeah, when we start 6 months ago, I stopped my job at the time. Definitely took a more calculated risk about going through a loan process and this and that. But none of that worked out. So it's like even crazier risk. But what are you going to do? We're not going to stop. So whatever comes up, we just know that we'll deal with it together. And it's like no other person I'd rather deal with it
Well, that is so sweet and so
with.
cute. I've never thought about that. That's nice. That's nice that you guys want to
Yeah, we
spend
love
time
it.
together because some people do not. But has there been any maybe more challenging lessons that you feel like you'd like to share to save someone else from experiencing, or, just like something that you're like, "Oh, I wish somebody else knew this when they're starting a new project in
We were told
2026."
this, but like when there's construction involved, just like times two what they tell you the timeline is. I am very optimistic and I didn't believe that. I was like, oh, we're going to be open in August. And realistically, contractors, construction, no matter how good they are or whatnot, it's like one worker's waiting on another and then the other couldn't get booked until this day. Things just
Yeah.
are delayed. So I would say give yourself like double what the runway is that you think it's going to be, and then maybe even add an extra month in there.
Yeah, I think in the, even
Double
in
and
our
then some.
space, we had a really unique scenario with the building where it wasn't like just some random outside contractors. They work with the building, work with the office, all this stuff. So things were done very timely. And then there's always going to be something that can't be controlled. Like we were waiting on lighting. They're not going to finish up everything else and make it all operational. Also, just no lights. So some little thing that you weren't thinking about, yeah, definitely that. Um, I don't know. There's a huge aspect of like you don't know what you don't know. So you can be as prepared as you want, but at some point, it's like you don't know if a parachute works until you jump. So, and like that's how wings work too. You don't really do anything unless you jump. So I think you can do your best to be as ready as possible. I would say don't take advice from anybody that you don't want to be or you wouldn't trade lives with, but also take advice from people that are in your industry because I don't think we were like, oh, I wish I knew that. But I would say that to other people is if you're going to start some venture, you're probably going to talk to your friends, you're going to talk to family, you're going to talk to people that you know. Just guessing that the majority of those people don't do the exact same thing you do. So, first off, all their advice is going to come from their perception and what they would be able to do and how much they believe in themselves or how much risk they could take. When it comes to like risk tolerance, like, yeah, how high can you run a credit card and feel comfortable? How high, like, and be able to eat because your stomach doesn't feel so crazy, like Stephania was saying. So there's all these different things of like, what is your caliber, your tolerance, and like I said with the sauna cold plunge, right? Can you go in that cold plunge and then remember, hey, I can sit in there for a good amount of time. I can probably tolerate this, or like, is what's going on, what I'm complaining about, or what I perceive as hard, is that as challenging as what some other people are going through in this world? 100% not. Guarantee I'd
Right.
grab my problem right back out of that hat. So I think when you can remember that, whatever we're going through is really not that hard. I have a lot of people that would probably trade our problems for whatever they're dealing with. So I just try to look at it from that
Absolutely.
perspective. And yeah, there's a lot of comfort in going and getting some corporate job or a 9 to 5 or whatever. I'm not built for that. I don't think you could pay me enough to sit in a cubicle because it's just not how I operate or to take orders from somebody else.
No, thank you. Me neither. No,
But
that's
some
not
are.
in our cards. Okay, I do have a.
But some are.
Yes. There's a place for everyone. Some people dig that. Some people need that structure and need to be told what to do. If I was in a cubicle, I'd probably be in a padded room by now. Absolutely not happening. I do have like really short, really quick, kind of like rapid fire questions. Very simple, short answers, just like funsy things. Do you, either of you, well, both of you, I want to know both. Do you have a favorite morning routine? One thing you do in the morning that brings you much joy?
Well, I do 3 things. Every morning I get up, I meditate. Right before that, I always find some gratitude. Sometimes it's very simple. I'm happy to be up today. because somebody didn't, you know. But ultimately, just remembering the really basic things, like I'm getting up out of my bed, I'm walking. Somebody would give anything to walk. So I'll meditate. After that, I do that little brain training. That does bring me joy. I've set 2 PRs this year, so that's cool. But the other one is some movement. I go through a simple movement routine. I've always done movement over my life, but actually this year I did change out a little bit from this other guy that I follow. I kind of went through his flow. But yeah, for me, that morning routine, if I can do those 3 things, it takes me about 15 minutes, and that really kind of primes me for the day, where I feel like if I can do that to myself, that fills my cup, now I can go out and be my best me and help others.
I'd say mine's a little bit
Stefania?
less structured. I like to take my time in the morning. I don't like to go through rush. It doesn't always happen that way. But I'd say that I do try to have some quality time of like giving Sam a little cuddle in the bed, giving the dog some attention, taking care of a couple things that make me feel productive before I leave the house. So it looks a little bit different every day.
Is there a wellness habit that you'll never give
Flossing.
up? Love. Flossing is key.
So
Yeah.
important.
Meditation.
That's good. One trend that you love and one that you're completely over.
Steps that I love, and one that I'm over is the weighted vest, which I used to think I loved, but the science is saying that it can actually compress your spine more. It doesn't add more bone density. It's kind of worthless, so I wish that would end.
Yeah, because those have been
Mhm.
trending lately too. The weighted vests.
Ooh,
Sam, one you love, one you're
It's
over.
really tough, honestly. Sauna, definitely love. I've been a big advocate of that for a long time, and now it's awesome to have it in your own space, and feels like we have it at our house basically. So that's cool. I don't know, one that I'm super over. I think when I am
You don't
well,
have to be
it's
over
not
one
really
if you're
crazy,
not.
but this is kind of along the lines of like biohacking, or when it comes to more of the fitness industry, I see people training the really awkward, weird movements, and then it's like, this would make you better at this, where it's like, maybe just do the thing. If we're trying to
Yeah.
be better at tennis, have you ever swung a
Yes.
club? Like the racket, like being a little more specific to what we're doing. And it is not that there aren't things that we can be doing to optimize, but really similar to like the getting the right pair of shoes or like the supplements. Like we got to do all the baselines first. So I think with exercises, like let's not
Right.
over complicate it. You know, let's lift heavy, let's push hard, let's progressively do it, and
The basics work.
yeah, exactly, consistently.
It is getting a little wonky out there. There's so many things I see that are like 17 different pieces of equipment. Each body part's doing a different thing, and I'm like how would you
Right,
even
you're
train
like
somebody to
barefoot on
do
a
that?
Bosu
Like,
ball,
no,
using
just
bands with like your vibrating plate on top of it, like,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, on your head, vibrating
like
plate
a
on
little
your
too
head.
much stack.
Yes. Yes. Okay, what is the best advice that you've received? And it can be in regard to anything.
Gosh, I feel like this is a tough one.
No, there's
I could probably say it a
it
lot of
is.
different
It
ways,
is.
but I heard this again recently, and it just kind of really rang true. Where it's like, look, the only person in the way is you, because it's easy to get hung up in our world and feel like, well, I would be doing better if this, or if they would just this, or you know, blaming it on someone else. And I think in our life, you can be a victim or a victor. And you can either believe that you're in control. So even when things go bad, it's better to know that there's something you can do. But I think when you zoom out like that, because you might feel like today is tough. You're like, well, I don't need to change the world. I just need to change the energy that creates it, like my own world in my mind. So maybe I need to show up as a better person.
Yes.
It's the only thing that's in front of me is me. And ultimately, if I'm saying all these excuses, like that's you being in your own way. So I think that's very liberating. Like you're your own problem, but you're your solution too. So
And mine is if you can
Dig
do
it.
something today to make your tomorrow easier, you have to do it.
It's a goodie too. I'm gonna go get that tattooed on myself right after this. Okay, one last little question. One word to describe your vision for optimal health in the new year.
Peace.
that's really tough. I feel like
One word, Sam.
Longevity.
Only one. You're only allowed to answer with one question.
Longevity is our big thing.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Peace and longevity. Oh, that's nice. Peace was my last year for New Year's. I picked 3 words, and peace was one of my one of my words for 2025.
Did it
I
work?
feel like that's such a good word. And long, yeah,
Good.
yeah. I actually feel
Good.
so much more peaceful than I did
Good.
a year ago. And longevity, maybe that will be mine this year because I want to live forever. So, where can people find you guys on social media, and where are you in San Diego, your physical business?
Social media, you can find us on Instagram at OPTML So optimal, we're missing a couple vowels in there on purpose. And then we are located in PB. So for those locals, we're right off of the 5 in between Grand and Garnett. So you don't have to go quite into the depths of PB. We're really close off of the highway. So we
2
also
minutes
have
off that.
parking.
That
One
is key
other thing we
here,
never
parking.
mentioned about the space and kind of ties into this part, but we're on the first floor, and on the second floor, there's a cafe, which is actually the ground floor that you enter into. So when we talked about curating like a space or a community type of area where people can come, that's another great benefit. Is the cafe is open every day till 2 o'clock. So we have a lot of kind of foot traffic, people coming in and out, but it's also amazing. People show up early for appointments. Hey, you can go up there, have your coffee, finish up your meetings or whatever, and then really come in here ready to just enjoy what you came for in your services. Um, so that's another added benefit. It's called the Local Crave. Great coffee, great food.
And I imagine you have a
Yes.
website now.
That's again, optimalhealth.com, optmlhealth.com.
Perfect.
So you can find us on there. You can find us on Instagram. We're working on some of the other socials with the YouTube going and stuff like that, and probably get a lot more content. We'll have some long form stuff on there as well as exercise videos. Stuff like
Love it. Well, I feel like I was at a seminar. I feel like I went to a convention today. I genuinely, even though I work in this industry, I don't really pay attention that much. Like truly, like I'm not as ingrained in it as you are, so I really feel like I actually learned
Amazing.
a lot about everything, things I do, things I don't do. You guys are so knowledgeable, and actually seeing you guys talk together in the same room, you make so
Oh,
much
thank
sense.
you.
You're very educated. You guys are I just love your explanations, and I think it was really beneficial and helpful, and, I mean, people listening or watching will see your space, but tomorrow I will come visit you, and we'll have a gay old time, pun intended, at
Awesome.
your location, and I can't wait to see it, so thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you wanna say?
Follow us.
You feel like we
Just
did
that
the
we
thing?
really care about our people. So you're never going to come into our circle and not feel that. And we want you here.
Our tagline, the reason I said longevity,
Yeah.
it's our tagline, longevity through lifestyle. So, yeah, if the things that we said resonated with you and you're looking to, like, hey, that makes sense. I'm just looking to have a healthy lifestyle I can carry on and build on to. That's what we're here for. And we just want to make this a great community and space and help people find other like minded people that want to do this as well.
Well, I think that you guys are gonna be very successful, and
Thank
I love
you.
it.
Thank
I
you.
love it all. It's so cute. I can't
Yeah,
wait to
we're
see it in
excited.
person. So thank you
Yes,
for
thank you,
being here
Josh.
and
We
keep me in the
will.
Too.
loop, you know? Okay,
See you
thank you.
tomorrow.
Okay. And that wraps up part 2 of my conversation with Sam and Stefania from Optimal Health. And honestly, if this episode did not make you want to book an infrared sauna and then jump in a cold plunge and finally book your one on one training session or small group training class, I do not know what will. But like, find your motivation. You got this. Okay. What I love most about Sam and Stefania, their approach is that it's not just about extremes. It's not about punishment. It's actually not about that at all. It's about sustainability, accountability, and actually treating your body like it's your home. It is. It truly is your temple. It's not a project that you only care about once a year in January when you try to revamp some stuff. Their goals and working with you, the goals that they set with you, it's long term, which, revolutionary. I know. But they truly care. They fucking care. That is not always the case when people who sell a model, they just want to swipe your card. They're posting on Instagram. There's so many people out there in the health and wellness fitness industry that do not care. But Sam and Steph do. I've known them for a hot minute and they genuinely care. So if you want to check them out for yourself, you can follow Optimal Health on Instagram at OPTML Health. And you can head to their website, optmlhealth.com, for basically everything we talked about: Stefania's small group classes, her personal training rates, booking one on one sessions, scheduling some chiropractic appointments with Sam. And you know me, okay? I don't just say shit to say shit. I have worked in the fitness industry for Lord knows how long, over a decade now. And I truly have never met two people that are more authentic and that believe in their philosophy and actually want to help people one interaction at a time. I like cannot hammer that home enough. There's so many people that I have met that are just full of full of shit. Pardon my French, as if I ever care about when I swear, but there's so many people that are full of shit. These two actually care. So I would, if you're in San Diego, I would definitely trust them. I would give it a go. So as always, if you love this episode, share it with a friend, send it to your workout buddy, post it on your stories, tag me, you know the drill. All of these things help the show grow bigger and helps the hot air keep blowing. So follow me on Instagram at underscore hot air pod and on TikTok at underscore hot air pod. Submit your listener stories, topic suggestions, shop my merch, and let me know how you felt about this episode. So you can just send me comments, be like, I hated it. I loved it. Ask me questions, whatever. Hot air with joshuarobert.com. Okay. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay sweaty. Stay spicy. Take care of that booty because summer is coming, honey. Okay. So I will see you next Tuesday.